Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share my first update on my experience with the Asus ROG Flow Z13 for 2025. I'll include a link in the description for those of you interested in purchasing one, and in full disclosure, this was not furnished to me by Asus for review, but rather I purchased it from Best Buy, just like the link I shared below. Now, granted, it was on sale for a little under $2,000 US, and to my knowledge, I think that's close to the lowest price the 64 gig Z13 for 2025 has ever been. Keep in mind, this originally launched at $27.99, and that was before any of the tariff business. But this is a year old now, and in my opinion, it's even more compelling, and I'll explain why, at least through this update with the limited experience I've spent with it. But you are getting this from a Z13 Acronym owner who has owned this since launch and also reviewed the 4060 and 4050 model of the Z13 from 2023. And the first thing you probably have noticed is that TimeSpy score. How is the 2023 Acronym beating out the 2025 AMD Strix Halo? And it's really obvious why. We've got an RTX 4070 in here, granted in a very low wattage profile, 32 gigs of RAM, an Intel 13th Gen i9 processor, and the 4070 is really the only impressive element of this, other than the fact that I can hook up this 4090 XG Mobile and take this to 4K 120 gaming. That cannot be done with the Z13 2025 model, even with the RTX 5090 XG Mobile unit, because we have a Thunderbolt 4 bottleneck with the Z13 on the right. So that's the bad news. The good news, though, is really good. If you own any model other than the Acronym from 2023, this is not just an upgrade, it's a huge upgrade. And if you're wondering why this is a 2025 model in 2026, it's because, well, first and foremost, it has nothing to do with my major, spine surgery recovery. That's the good news. Anytime you hear me say that lately, yeah, those are reviews I couldn't get to because of what happened to me surgically. This, on the other hand, is a device that Asus only refreshes really once every 2 years because it isn't just another gaming laptop. It is essentially a Surface Pro tablet on steroids, really the most powerful device of its kind, the only device of its kind on Earth, and thank God that Asus continues to make it, because if they didn't, well, I don't know what I'd be using instead. So kudos to Asus for doing this, sticking with the process, and it evolving. So in some ways, 2 steps forward, 1 step back with this gen, and I'll explain why. So the graphics scores, again, it's because this has a 4070, and this is relying on AMD's Strix Halo integrated GPU performance. And while that may sound bad at face value, the integrated GPU performance for the Strix Halo is the best we've ever seen on planet Earth, even a year after its launch. So at $2,000, this also has 64 gigs of shared memory. I can use 75% of that RAM for anything I want, but specifically as VRAM if desired. Whereas here, we are limited by that 8 gigs of VRAM with the 4070, and that's why I say the real thing that sets it apart is this guy. But without this, I would still bet that many Acronym owners like myself would be very happy to migrate to this, because if you don't own the 4090, there really isn't that much of a reason to stick with the Acronym, even though they're so close. And I'll explain why. Again, this is just an update. I'm going to close up the Acronym. Number one, the keyboard on the Acronym is a bit of a nightmare for me personally. The display, though, I'm not so sure the new 180 hertz display is actually better. From a fidelity standpoint, I might actually prefer the Acronym display. It just seems a little cooler, a little bit more accurate. Every panel's a little different. I'm going to spend more time with it. We'll get there. Also, keep in mind, the Acronym has a crazy design, which some people love, some people hate. It's definitely unique. But take a listen to the coil whine from these fans. So it's pretty distinct, and for many people, it's not a big deal. And I'm not here to tell you that this machine, the 2025 model, makes no noise. It absolutely makes noise. It makes less of it. It has much better battery life. Here, I was looking at 5 to 6 hours. I'm talking about just regular tablet use, whereas here, you're getting closer to 10 hours. So that's a really big generational leap from one gen to the next. The other thing is that per watt performance with this processor is amazing. And I think that's really what everybody was after. And that's why I say that unless you have the XG Mobile for your Z13, specifically the Acronym, there's really no reason to talk about the Acronym anymore. Now, I can't find a lot of good reasons to make the transition to this because I have the XG Mobile. If I didn't, I would likely sell the Acronym and make the move. And that's because there are enough things I've noticed to make me want the newer hardware. So number one, battery life. That's a big one. This is a tablet with touchscreen. So having that additional battery life for when I'm not using it as a gaming machine or as an editing station, that would be nice. The other thing is that this doesn't get much more performance using its 200 watt brick as opposed to a 100 watt Type-C solution. And that's big because at launch, when I saw this, and I'll show you that right now, one of the biggest turnoffs for me was that Asus did away with Type-C charging and brought in this proprietary 200 watt brick. But it seems like this is mostly for overhead for the CPU. It seems from a gaming perspective, you can top out or do nearly as good as you can with the full 200 watt proprietary brick as you can with just 100 or power delivery 1.4 type charging like what came with last generation. So if you pick up one of those last gen chargers and use it with this, it seems like from a gaming perspective, again, you're going to get nearly the same performance as you would with the heavier 200 watt brick. So that was something at launch. I don't think Asus did a good enough job. I know they bragged about per watt performance and that you didn't have to use it, but if I had known that it was literally going to be identical except for some other CPU tasks where you need extra headroom, because again, that's how it appears to me early on, that would have been good to know. The other thing is that when it comes to the cooling solution, yes, battery life got better, but the Strix Halo obviously much more efficient, and it really blows away the Intel chip here. So we're talking about like nearly twice the performance, and that is a big deal. So video editing, photo editing, architectural software, the chip itself is a huge upgrade. Then the fact that we're going from 32 gigs of RAM to 64, that also bonus can be used, as I mentioned, up to 75% of it for video RAM. That is critical because here we were limited to 8 gigs. So if you're doing anything more than gaming, that's going to be very valuable. Machine learning, all of that good stuff. That shared RAM is really the future of, I think, most computing. And hopefully we see more and more development in that direction because it makes a lot more sense. It's much more versatile, much more dynamic in terms of its applicable uses. So there are a lot of benefits there. So battery life, and then as I mentioned, the efficiency is not just the literal efficiency of the Strix Halo chip, but then the cooling. They're using different fans, and while this makes noise too when it's under load, the high-pitch coil whine is not the same. It's not as annoying, and I don't think that's just me because I'm pretty good. I'm not one of those people that every review that I've ever left is about coil whine. There are people like that. I'm not saying you're not right that coil whine exists. It's just I feel like those people sometimes overestimate how easy it is to eliminate it. And yeah, but without digressing, this is just much more of what you're going to want from a tablet experience. So on the tablet side, it is better. As I mentioned, the display may not actually be as nice, oddly enough, as what is on the Acronym, and it should be better in every way. They're both Nebula displays. They both are 2560 by 1600. They're both very similar in their brightness ratings, so I'm not sure. Now, you don't get a pen with this out of the box, but of course, if you get a pen, it works. And that's another really nice thing. The keyboard is excellent. It is a solid upgrade, better key travel. This feels more like a real laptop than a two-in-one. And that's exactly what, well, Microsoft is trying to fix every year. So again, Asus did a nice job with that. Much bigger trackpad. You still can tell you're not using a regular laptop though, because there is a little bit of flex. And as good as the build quality can be on these type of keyboards, there still has to be a give and take here. But the 1 terabyte drive in here is fast. everything works. The webcam slightly better than the previous gen with facial recognition on Windows Hello. But I really just wanted to speak to this because that is really what I think everybody's wondering about. Are you going to get the gaming performance? And I'll be doing a gaming demo of this to show exactly how well it performs in some of my favorite titles, like Helldivers 2, Arc Raiders right now, and some lighter games. What people really adore about this is that they feel they can have this behave like a Steam Deck, like a portable console, and really crank down the wattage and still get excellent performance. And I get that that's what they're after. To me, that's not the goal I was ever after. I was always looking for the best possible performance I could get in the smallest package for travel. Of course, post 2 major spine surgeries, I'm not really traveling anymore because I can't. Hopefully one day that changes, but I'm not sure that is in the cards for me anymore. Travel has become really, really challenging. And if you're disabled, you know what that's about. I don't need to explain that. Everybody's got their own challenges. But when it comes to still keeping this as thin and light as a portable console could ever be, with a 13 and nearly 13.5-inch display that has high quality overall performance, HDR, chops that are legit. I wish this were an OLED, but we've got 180 hertz refresh rate, which you'll see when I do the gaming demo. It is really impressive for a 3-pound, roughly 3-pound package. And then when we get to the I/O, it's no slouch. I mean, that is part of what brought me to the Acronym, so no different here. We have 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports. Now, had these been Thunderbolt 5, then pairing this with that XG Mobile 5090 would have been insane. And that's what I guess I'll likely be waiting for, because this is so promising. Again, that balance of really a best-in-class processor, and I mean that among any laptop, I mean workstation material. That's how good the Strix Halo in this variant is, and it's a year old. I mean, when they come out with the next generation for this in 27, because I don't think this will launch this year, but if they were to do that, and it has the Thunderbolt 5 support, forget it. This is going to set an entirely new standard. Put a slightly larger battery in here, push it up from the 70 watt hours to 99 or in that vicinity, and we could be talking about a gaming tablet that, yes, weighs 3.5 pounds, thereabout, but gets 15 hours of battery life and can game at 4K. I think this is doable. I think it's really, really doable. It all depends on which chip they're going to bring back from NVIDIA, because we're not going to do that on integrated performance, of course. And I do want something, granted, this is a new bar for integrated, because 4060, 4070 capability in a machine like this that you could take anywhere is just crazy. And then 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports, HDMI 2.1, their proprietary charging port, a micro SD card slot, flip it around, and you've got, your headphone microphone combo jack, Type A, their little command center launcher for software, which is not a bad thing. A video for another time, volume rocker, and your power button. And the kickstand's excellent. Build quality is great. Only one side has that little prize spot, but it's really easy to upgrade the NVMe if you want an additional terabyte. Just unscrew that, open it up, throw it in. So they made it accessible. You have an additional camera here at the back, just like the previous gen, little window into the internals that you can actually change the lighting on. They've improved a lot. And, it's very impressive what this can do as a standalone. And I think they've leaned into that most users are not going to buy the XG Mobile solution. So we've got to make the base model as good as we can. And they've done that. And I think that this became a product that many more users wanted than the original Z13 because of the Strix Halo processor and knowing how good it was at everything, but really being that per wattage performance champ that the PC world hadn't seen until this device launched. And that was a really major contrast from what the Z13 had been previously, which was all horsepower, shrunken down gaming laptop that gave you exactly what you expected, a hot, noisy mess, but that got the job done. Here, things got quieter, cooler, much more efficient. But again, we took a step back in that raw performance because even though, as I stated at the top, these are neck and neck with their gaming prowess, anything that does support NVIDIA's DLSS 3 or 4 this is going to easily outperform the Strix Halo because of that benefit. But again, any video editing or photo editing that can utilize the Strix Halo chipset properly is going to just trounce that i9. And how much the 4070 is going to help you with photo or video editing is obviously going to depend on the software you use. But those differences are negligible at the end of the day, I think, for most users. And that's why, again, if you own any Z13 from 2023 that isn't the Acronym, this is so easy to recommend. And it's very obvious why this is so popular. I think so many different people would enjoy using this. And you don't need to be a gamer. This is just everything the Surface Pro is not, except for, of course, it's not thin and light like the Surface Pro. And when we get there, which we will, that is the only way that this is going to become an even more amazing product. And it makes me think about, like, what I have here, this foldable device, and the fact that now I can unfold a 10-inch tablet from a phone. And that's exactly the type of stuff that just makes me think about the future of these devices and where we're going to go. And it's a really bright future, folks. I mean, yeah, really, really bright. So again, for me personally, this is such an exciting tablet. And even though this was just an update, I think I made the right choice initially, not dumping my Acronym in favor of this, even though this is, better than it in most ways. But the raw computing power and obviously my 4090 XG Mobile takes it to a place that I can't achieve with this. Well, no one can achieve. The next gen, though, when we get that Thunderbolt 5 and better integrated performance, that we get to a point where we blow this out of the water and get a bigger battery, and if they find a way to slim it down, if that's possible, which it is, talk to Samsung. I mean, Asus is doing God's work, not to be creepy, because after all, if you go to my, well, anyway, I'm not religious and I'm not trying to get into religion, so nobody should misread that, but they are doing some magical stuff. Okay, now I really threw you for a loop, because they are continuing to make products that I literally want, and it's not for everybody, but it just is such a special little envelope of technological goodness. So keep it up, Asus. Don't have to go with this design or that top-of-the-line $3,700 thing you put out, but keep it up. And don't sleep on the shared VRAM. I know I mentioned it enough times, but it's a big deal. So, yeah. I can't wait until we do get, hopefully, NVIDIA back in the mix. But for the time being, I don't think anyone's going to miss them. Any questions or comments, please feel free to post them at that like button. And as usual, please feel free to subscribe and please stay safe. Later.